10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You are now live. Welcome to A Player's Perspective. Yellow Jacket Nation, we are live and in charge, coming to you with the best comprehensive Georgia Tech sports talk. Everything that you need to know about the sports talk that you want to hear and not what everybody else is trying to force down your throat. So we are live today in studio in our new digs with my man over here, K Solo, Ken Swilling. What's up, brother?
What's up, Tommy? How you doing, baby?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good, brother.
Good.
You know, I'm feeling good, brother. You know?
And you look kind of good.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie to you. You look good, like you belong.
Like I belong up in here. That's what I'm talking about. In our new digs in Seven Springs studio out here in Powder Springs. We are excited to be right now live and in charge in front of you all. We've had a little technical difficulties. You guys have heard that before. But Facebook Live is down tonight, Ken.
Yeah.
And luckily, though, we've made this transition so we can still bring the show to our
bring the
folks.
show to our people. God does everything well.
Well.
So we just have to trust his plan and know that he's moving in the right direction.
That's all right, brother. I know that's right, and I'm excited about that. And so we're going to do the show for you all today, and then we're going to upload it and then post it on the page. So you guys are not going to miss a thing. It's a thing. We got an exciting show for these folks today, Ken.
Yes, sir.
We got 1990 national champion team captain Jeremiah McClary coming on.
Okay.
And then that quarterback, that QB guy from Thomaston. From Thomaston, Georgia. You remember him?
I think he's from Thomasville.
Is he? No, I think it's Thomaston. No,
I think it's Thomasville, Georgia.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna settle that when we get on here.
We're going to see.
We're going to see what's up with that because, he and Cat, though, are two people I get confused because they're both
now, Cat,
from Thomas something.
Yeah, Cat is from Thompson or Thomason, Georgia. Him and Alfonso Thomas.
And Alfonso Thomas.
Uh-huh.
And then where's Goose from?
Now, you had to ask me.
I had to go there on that one.
I'm not really sure.
Good. Okay, so I stumped the man right now that has all the infinite wisdom right there. I'm telling you. So, but hey, it's our boy Sean Jones is going to come on later on in the show,
Yep.
and you all know him and love him, and we're going to check in on him and see how he's doing and what's going on in his life. So we're excited about, man, these guys coming on and working with us today, Ken.
Oh, yeah. I'm very excited about it. Hadn't had a chance to talk to Jeremiah or Sean in a while, so it'll be real fun.
Yeah, there you go.
To kind of listen to them and see how things are going.
Yes.
And just how things are moving on. As we get a little older, we start having some kind of little challenges.
Yeah.
But the last time I saw Sean, he looked like he could play still.
Sean said that he could still play, kid. He said that he might be even just a little bit faster now. That's pretty impressive.
That's all I'm gonna say is
I think our feet get a little slow and our eyes get a little faster.
That's what it is.
That might be what it is, but we might just have to put them on the clock and
Yep.
see what's going on. But that's going to be exciting. But Ken, Georgia Tech sports right now are in full swing with the spring sports and then wrapping up some of the fall sports. Georgia Tech had a tough loss yesterday, brother. They went into the ACC tournament against Notre Dame. They came back from 20 points down, cut it to within 3 points.
Within 3
Ken,
points, right. Mm-hmm.
and fell short to the Notre Dame Fighting Irish and will not advance in the ACC tournament this year. They needed to kind of get through all of that just to kind of have any kind of chance at a postseason. So right now, these cats are going to be packing up and this season and putting it behind them and getting ready for next year.
Yeah, and it's a sad situation, but now it's time to go recruiting.
Yes, it is.
It's time to get on the stick, and I'm still waiting on this program to get that signature guy. Mm-hmm. And all it takes is one guy.
Yeah.
To come, and we can get that guy this year, and hopefully everything will work out just fine. Mm-hmm. But things just haven't really haven't come together as well as we'd like to for them to have come together
Right.
on the basketball side of things.
Well, Josh Okogie left early and went to the NBA.
Right.
Playing with the Timberwolves out there, and he's doing his thing right now and enjoying his pro career. But it was a little sudden and something that came sort of at the last minute, which kind of threw us for a loop at the time, right?
Right.
And so now what we have to do is kind of get, like you just said, some players and some personnel in that will help us with the shooting, with the scoring, Ken. And I think that's what we've had this year, just an issue with putting the ball in the basket.
And that's been a bad situation all around because there'd be nights when they looked like they were going to come together.
Yeah.
And then, the shooting would just be atrocious at
Right.
times. And it just, like I said, it never didn't come together like they needed it to for them to be successful the way they need to be successful. Now losing Okogie early in the season, finding out he was going to the NBA, which happened to be the right move for him because he ended up being a first-round pick.
Exactly.
So and I've seen him play a couple of times this year, and the NBA game really suits his style of play.
Right.
So that works out fine for him. Works out really good for him. So hopefully, we can get the situation rectified.
There you
get
go.
that ball player that we need in there to do what we need to do and get the program back on the map because I want to see it return back to the day.
It has got to, Ken. I mean, that's the Thriller Dome. And that's right here in the ATL. It's right here in the hotbed of talent of Georgia. So many different players. I heard it earlier today that the only team that's pretty much moving on is Georgia State. They've got a chance to basically get a couple of rounds of buys in their own tournament this weekend. And so they're sort of like the most successful. Now, Georgia plays this evening or whatever in the SEC.
Yeah, they're playing right now.
And then, and so what you've got there is a lot of teams here, a lot of programs that should have better talent, and we don't.
Yeah, and that's the disheartening thing about it. You're talking about the two powerhouses schools in the state.
Yeah.
And we don't have one that can scratch the tournament right now.
That's crazy.
And it just doesn't make any sense. And as much talent as the state of Georgia has,
right?
When you look around from Milton to Westlake to all these different schools, Pebblebrook, all these different schools that have a plethora of talent, but we can't get any of it to stay in the state. You can look on any roster just about of any school around the country, and you'll find somebody from the state of Georgia on that roster. And like you said, Georgia is a hotbed for college athletics, period, but especially the basketball and football.
And for football.
So, we've got to get that talent to stay home. Good luck to Georgia State.
Yeah.
I really like Ron Hunter.
Absolutely.
And, quiet as it kept, I really wanted him to be the coach.
Yeah, at Georgia Tech. I don't blame you, brother. That wouldn't have been a bad decision.
Because I thought that he brought a different kind of a demeanor that we hadn't had in a while.
Yeah.
At Georgia Tech. And,
right.
The thing about that whole situation is, they're in a bye all the way to the semifinals.
Yeah.
Which will happen this weekend, and then they still have to play in, even though they are like. The RPI rating is like 51 or 52 or something crazy like that.
Gotcha.
They'll still have to be in a playing game.
Yeah.
To get into the tournament. So,
right. Gotcha.
If they can win their championship, they can get into the tournament and they'll be our saving grace. Right.
The only person that we can team and we can root for in this tournament. That would be good. Well, I think it's time for bringing in this. Awesome individual. You guys know him as Big Maya, and he is 1990 national champion team captain, and right here from Georgia, played over here at Central Gwinnett High School.
Right.
And we're going to bring him in on the phone and check in with him and see how he's doing. So let's bring him on up. Jeremiah, are you with us?
Yes, how are you?
What's up, brother?
Nothing much. Good to hear you guys.
Good to be heard.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, man, I know you got a busy schedule, so we appreciate you taking some time out for us and coming on Players Perspective, my man, and getting to see how everybody is doing and what's going on. And the Yellow Jacket Nation is excited to hear your voice. So tell us a little bit about what you've been up to, brother.
Actually, just I'm doing consultative type work now. I've been in training and development for the last 25 years.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm doing my own thing now, just going into organizations, creating content for leadership development, and training, for communications, time management, just building people skills now.
That is awesome, brother. That is awesome. And we are so happy, man, that you're up and back at it. You had a little spat there with your health, and you were down for a minute. Probably like most of us, you just needed some time to rest. But it's just one of those things that we're happy to have you, man, back in the battle and in the hunt again.
I'm absolutely glad to be back. And when you say needed to rest, they got me plenty of it. I was actually hospitalized for like 20 days.
That is crazy.
But
wow.
All you guys calling and coming by, quite a few guys from our era came by, got phone calls from you guys and well wishes on Facebook, and all of that was very encouraging and motivating. And once I realized that I was still in the fight, to use your term, I was like, I got to get out of here.
Yeah.
And so it's been a road to recovery ever since.
Amen to that, brother. Amen to that. So we are, we're back at it and doing some things out there, Jeremiah, and the fans here on A Player's Perspective have really been getting deep into the sports talk and what's been going on down at the Flats. We got a new coach down there. We got a new attitude. A lot of stuff is going on down there. Tell us what are your opinions and your views about the transition that's happening at Georgia Tech right now?
I'll start by saying I'm glad it finally happened. Secondly, I had the opportunity to go down about 2 weeks ago, and the atmosphere is ripe right now just to have a turnaround. And as I was telling people earlier, I don't know what the record's going to look like this year simply because he's playing with the former regime's kids.
Right.
But I mean, the attitude itself is totally light years different. And I was sharing with Marco, I had a chance to meet with him while I was down there, that I hadn't been back into the facility in almost 7 years simply because the last time I was there, I wasn't made to feel welcome. But once I walked in, I mean, it was like guys just, hey, it almost felt like you'd be recruited again, even though I know I absolutely have no eligibility or mobility left, but right, it was still a welcoming environment.
Yeah, Jeremiah, this is Ken. I was, your sentiments are mine exactly. I've had a chance to kind of talk around with some guys, and you kind of feel that the atmosphere is changed, and the fresh wind is blowing down there right now. Mm-hmm. And like I said, I don't know. We don't know what it's going to be like. We don't know. We don't even know if the guy can coach good. but we are in a moment right now where I think it's just a time. The time for change came at the right moment, at the right time, and I think we're at that moment, pivotal moment in our system, in what we do and how we do it. The energy that he is, that he's projecting is just crazy.
Yes,
it's off the chart. I mean, how do you feel that social media has really changed what happens?
Well, I think what he's done is he's identified what the youth of today are looking for, right, and so he's plugged into that. I mean, everybody else is using social media as a recruiting platform, and it gets around a lot of those blackout periods or no contact periods. And so he's leveraging that tool, and I don't think the last regime used that type of technology. Mm-hmm. And I'm not sure if they were uncomfortable with it or just the wide openness of it. They didn't want to be a part of that. But I think if that's what kids are into now, to reach them, you've got to do that thing.
It's imperative right now, and and I've often referred to the fact that, in my view, it was something that you saw Clemson jump on. To me, they don't know if they were first, but it was definitely presented in a way that they really dedicated a full staff to social media to really get out and reach out to these athletes and to these students. And, of course, we can see it's paid dividends for them. And with Georgia Tech now in that mix, dedicating dollars to get out there and to really let these kids know everything that Georgia Tech can offer, because it's truly a special place. And to be right here in the ATL, man, we have got to get better at recruiting.
And you're right. And this tool is a perfect tool. And I sit here thinking, listening at what you're saying, it just jumped in my mind. We're a technology school that was afraid to use technology.
Exactly. Yeah. And that was what Brent Key was talking about. That Brent Key was saying, how can we not be, we're right here at Georgia Tech, who leader of technology. We've got to basically utilize that and let people know that, hey, this is the place to be in, and we're going to be in the forefront of what recruiting should be and how things need to be in the recruiting front. Jeremiah, there's some transitions and stuff from the option now to the pro style. We got the defense that's coming in, and Coach Collins is a defensive-minded person. From what you've seen in the past, what we've done on defense, and going forward to some of the new options and how we could possibly better utilize the talent there, what are your views about basically what you've seen in the past for defense, and then where we can go with this?
I think the biggest thing is just looking at his time at Temple, even though it was short, and what he's doing now, is the guy. He retools things, and what I mean by that is a lot of the guys is wide open again, and if you didn't quite get playing time in your current position, he's asking guys, based on what I heard when I was down there, to take a shot somewhere else.
Right.
And I think just that different perspective of a guy who's now got a chance to be on the field, that's going to energize him.
Right.
And, and for a lot of years, and I tell you, I really liked Ted Root, because, I mean, he was alma mater twice with me at Central and Georgia Tech.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they really had an identity on defense.
Right.
And that was one of the biggest challenges that I would share with people. They never had an identity. And even when I played before our championships, we lost quite a few games, but our defense was always ranked in the top 20 every year.
Right.
And so everybody knew you were in for a fight when you came to Georgia Tech.
Right, and that's right. Even going back to 1990 when we played and all that good stuff, our defense always kept us in the ball game, always kept us around, and all that good stuff. And it made the game real interesting. You talk about it. I came in a little bit after you guys, and I want to tell you thank you for taking me under your wing, Jeremiah, and giving me some tutelage about Atlanta that I didn't know about, and all that good stuff. Hey, can you tell us just one thing that's going to be PG censored, of course, that one memory that you might have that would interest some of our fans out here today that during your time at Georgia Tech?
I think my biggest, I'm trying to PG it up. My funniest memory, just quite honestly, was that you always had something to do. And what I mean by that is if the campus was dry or slow one night, you could drive 4.5 miles down the road and you've got Spelman, you've got the AU Center. Yeah. And so, again, there was always something to do in this city. And a lot of other cities, they don't have that. You go to South Bend, you had to drive 45 minutes in either direction to find some entertainment, something to do as a young man or woman at college. And a lot of these schools, even Clemson, is off the beaten path. Right. And so I think that is the biggest separator for Georgia Tech. And for a lot of years, I don't think they used that. They used it while I was there, but then some sort of way they moved away from that.
Yeah.
Hey, Jeremiah, I think we used it while we were some of the stuff I don't think
like this. Ken, I'll honor your request, and I'll just say the city is magical. How about
that? That's what I'm talking about. Yes, sir. But I mean, the museums and the different, the aquariums, the different things that that are out there, the attractions and all that kind of stuff. You know, there's a little bit of something for everybody, day and night. The parks that have now opened up and everything else that's going on. But, you know, when it gets down to it, for these young kids, man, I mean, just to have a great college life, you spoke to it with the AU Center. That really gave us a well-rounded perspective
yes, Lord.
Of what was going on in college. I mean, from the HBCU perspective, you know, then you also have the Emorys and the Agnes Scotts and that kind of stuff. Yeah, I mean, these are major schools that are nationally known, and they're right here in our backyard, Jeremiah.
Absolutely, and that's one of the benefits of attending Georgia Tech, and so I'm glad I made that decision.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Now, I mean, it was quite a transition from Bugtown, would you say?
Absolutely. I mean, you come from you did your homework. I like that. You're from a place where I grew up on a dirt road.
That's right.
And so to go to the city, you know, you traveled 55 miles away, but a lifetime.
Yeah.
You know, and it was quite different. So yeah, it was quite different from Bugtown.
There you go. There you go. And so, Jeremiah, for a lot of people that didn't know, I mean, those are some of the humble beginnings that, you know, you had come from, and that your parents and everything had. You were one of 9 kids, I believe, and then and cooking and was a passion of yours. I mean, that was something that you and I shared, with both being caterers and doing a lot of things in that arena. Are you doing anything with the catering these days?
Yes, I am, and I do that. I've rebranded it and everything. My catering company now is called Infusions Catering. Awesome. So I still do that, and again, I'm getting the ship back turned around. I had stopped when I went to the hospital, but now I'm getting my energy back, so I'm doing that also. So we can throw a heck of a tailgate party when you're ready to get together.
Well, absolutely. We're looking forward to doing that, and we're looking to have a lot of good old tailgates this upcoming season, and hopefully with a lot of great wins to energize it and boot it up and get it done. And Jeremiah, just give us some, maybe so as we wrap up with you, give us some parting words, and because I know a lot of people are excited about next year, but they also have a little bit of a tempered spirit. I like to let people know that every year you go into it with great expectations. You never go into a year thinking that you're going to lose or that you're going to only win 7 games or 8 games. You expect to win them all. Just from your player's perspective, going into a big year like that, something like we did prior to 1990, just your emotions about going into this next season.
Well, what I encourage everyone to do is go in, like you said, with an open mind. We have a new coach, have a new system in place, and a new formula. And what I mean by that is he's drilling in the guys even before they get on the field a winning mentality. And all of us, we understand that those formulas, if you put in the right numbers, you're going to come out with the right answer.
Right.
And I think the coach is really doing that by opening up and getting us back into the fold, those who've done it before and had success in the classroom and on the field. And so I think that formula is going to pay dividends early, sooner rather than later.
There you go. There you go.
That's it.
And I think that's right. I mean, you know, and I just think that everybody just needs to get on board, get excited about what's about to happen. And like we said, Jeremiah, on this show, we as fans, we just got to start doing our part. And because you know, it's administration, it's the players on the field, and it's the fan base. Jeremiah, we really appreciate you coming on the show and taking time out, man.
Pleasure.
And next time we can have you in the studio and check you out. Are you trying to get over to the Legends of the Flats on the 30th?
I'll be there on the 30th, yes.
Awesome, my man. Awesome. So appreciate you, brother. So good to hear from you, man. And we appreciate your player's perspective here on A Player's Perspective. Have a good one, brother. Take care of yourself. Much success to you on the revamping of your catering business and also in the consulting field. If you guys need a caterer out there or a consultant, call my man up, Jeremiah McClary. Absolutely. Sir.
Absolutely, guys. And I'll have to get off the phone. I've got a Bible study group waiting on me.
There you go,
All
brother.
right, sir.
Amen. All
Have
right.
a great one.
Take care, brother.
All right, bye-bye.
All right. Take care. Have a great one. Bye-bye.
That was the 1990 national champion team captain, Jeremiah McClary, live right here on A Player's Perspective, giving his perspective about this new year. Sound good, Ken?
Yeah. Sound real good.
Okay.
it sounded like he's getting his health back and getting his strength back. It was good to hear him. Good to hear his perspective on things, and it's good to hear what he was talking about as far as something that we have mentioned on the show without even really going down, but we've noticed the change in temperament,
right?
The change in the environment, all of that good stuff,
right?
Because we become more present now.
Yes.
Social media wise, just local news, media wise, everything. Georgia Tech has always been on the map, but we're back on the front scene. And Coach Collins, that was his aim and ambition when he first got here, was to make Georgia Tech the mecca of college football.
And I think and also when you look at a urban environment,
yes,
it tends to come at you fast. Mm-hmm. So Coach is like right in line with the way that we have to roll this thing out.
Right.
That it has to come hard and fast. That we're not looking to develop something today that doesn't show dividends until 10 years from now. We got to make some changes now.
Right.
And so that 3 or 4 or 5 years from now, we're really out there making some noise.
And that's the thing about it. Attitude is everything.
Everything.
And, and Deion Sanders used to say, if you look good, you play good,
mm-hmm.
and all that stuff. But it does, with the things that's going on at Georgia Tech and how things are coming about,
right?
Coach Collins had no choice but to step in and kind of infuse his energy and his system into the place, because we didn't have a brand.
Yes.
Yes. We were a brandless team and Jeremiah talked about the identity.
Yeah.
And that identity is being stamped into these young men right now.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? While they're in practice, while they're doing their things, doing the winter workout session, they are showing greatness, and we know they're going to be great. I got the acronym now. I know it's GRIT.
Right.
I know it's relentless effort. I know there's accountability there, and I know that they're going to play tough, because there's toughness involved in all of that. So I'm understanding that as a fan.
Yes.
And it's making me excited.
Yes,
because I'm excited because I realize that if I was a young guy, I would want to come to Georgia Tech.
Absolutely.
At this moment,
absolutely,
because I want to be on the cutting edge of things, and I want to see that program. I want to see the program turn around.
When coming out of New York, I knew nothing about Georgia Tech.
Right.
And then to have my coaches that were recruiting me for northern schools, then introduced me to the Atlanta scene and what was going on. It was just a very attractive platform and a base for me to want to be a part of. So it had a lot to do with what the coaches said, what they did, what they believed in, and a lot for reasons for me coming is because of the coaches and what we do. You and I talk about that a lot, the integrity of Coach Ross, and what he's done, the fight and vigor that you got out of the coordinators with O'Leary and with Friedgen. Mm-hmm. These were things that you just believed in.
Right.
And a new recruit, a young kid coming in, they just want something that they can believe in.
Right, exactly.
And this is something I think that Coach Collins and the rest of the staff is doing an excellent job with and putting that together. Hey, fans, also on March 30th, in addition to the Legends of the Flats, we will actually be, Georgia Tech is putting on a huge car show down there. And they're putting out together something from the classics to the modern vehicles, from old to new, something that has been really special over the years. And it's going to also happen almost concurrently down at Georgia Tech, but it will run a little bit longer. So even though there's not an opportunity to come in and check us out at the practice, there may be an opportunity for us after that. Definitely look for Ken and I to come out there and to show our face and get a chance to meet a lot of you all. But check it out. We'll post more information on our page about it and let you guys know. But it's a Georgia Tech car show, Ken.
Yeah.
And they do that thing big down there.
Yeah, and that's going to be an exciting time and an exciting moment for our fans.
Yeah.
And, I was hoping that they would kind of allow the fans to come in and be a part of the Legends Day. But, I understand why they did.
Yeah.
So if you get a chance to come down and you get a chance to be a part of the car show, we'll definitely be over that way and try to see as many people as we can during that moment in time. And if you're a former player and you have not received your letter yet, call somebody.
Yeah. We just don't have your information.
If you don't, call somebody, get your information.
Mm-hmm.
I think we have to be reserved by the 22nd in order for it to everything to go through. So you want to get that information in, fill out your information, send it back, and make sure that everybody is ready to go. Mm-hmm. So just do what you need to do. Do your part. They've already done their part. So.
Absolutely. And that's the thing, Ken, is that when people, throw out the red carpet, man, you got to come and put your footprints on it.
Yeah, there you go.
You got to put your footprints on there and show up and do our part to make that happen.
Right.
So we're going to transition a little bit, Ken, because with our 1990 theme tonight, and what we got going on. But like I said, you got Sean Jones going to be joining us, big top-rate quarterback, our leader on offense, coming to us and putting together a awesome offensive showing when we were playing, Ken, to put some numbers up out there. And he was a dynamic quarterback where he could run, he could throw. And he had an exciting career with us down there at Georgia Tech, and we're excited actually to have him on the show today, brother.
Yes, we are.
And so, Sean, are you on the line?
Yes, sir. What's going on, TC?
What's going on, Andrew C. Jones?
Oh, there you go, man. You start already. What's up, kid?
What's up, Sean? How you doing, buddy?
I'm good, man.
Great.
You guys having fun, man. I already hear you.
Yeah, absolutely, my man. Absolutely. Thank you, man. I know you're very busy down there taking care of business and doing a lot of stuff there, still with athletes and being athletic. I was talking to Ken prior to you coming on here, and I was sharing the part of our conversation previously. And what I want you to do is just let us know what you're doing, what's going on, what you've been up to these days. The Yellow Jacket Nation is excited to have you here on A Player's Perspective, and they just want to know how they're All-American, should have been All-American quarterback out there, is doing down there in South Georgia.
Everything's good, man. I'm actually, again, and still involved with athletics. I have a business where I train athletes from pros to middle schoolers. I'm also coaching middle school football, high school football, middle school basketball, high school basketball. So I stay busy pretty much year round. And I'm still active. So I stay busy. Fortunately, I'm part of a program where we play high-level football and basketball, and so our season's a lot longer than normal. But I'm pretty much staying busy, and I'm enjoying it. So just enjoying myself and raising my family.
Mm-hmm.
I have a son that's playing college football. I have a daughter that's playing a freshman starting varsity soccer, so that keeps me busy. And then I have the quarterback in the family that's in middle school, and so he loves it. So I stay busy.
Yeah, you sound like it, Sean. You sound like it. Now
yeah, man.
Hey, now let's get this straight before we get started. Number one, Tommy wants you to come from another T-town. He wants you to come from Thomaston. Tell him where you come from.
Thomasville.
Thank you.
It's about 35 miles north of Tallahassee.
There you go.
There you go.
Well, see, I was just testing Ken. See, and I threw that out there.
I got you.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure he stays on his toes. You know what I'm saying? But
keeping it short.
That's right. That's right.
And while we testing stuff, Tom has told me this story about you. You said that you could run as fast as you did, or faster than you did when we were playing. Now, is this true? Or do I need to bring out Rippers, believe it or not, or what's going on?
Well, let me say this. Being that I train clients, I have to do, and I pretty much do everything with them all the time. So I pretty much haven't stopped doing what I was doing when I was playing. Okay. And so that's running 40s for, doing all the prep, even the getting guys ready for season in college. So I pretty much did everything that they did. And so that just kept me where I am now. And, my son right now, he says he's a little bit faster, which he probably is. And I'm not going to tell him that, but he's roughly about a 4.4. Okay. And I'm step for step with him. And so, I know that's just the grace of God, man, that it enables me to do that and, do it without injuries.
Yes.
And it keeps the guys, it gives them a visual a lot of times, when they think you can do stuff and they say, well, yeah, all right, whatever. But when they actually see you doing it, it gives a little bit more credibility to what you're telling them. And so that's one of the reasons why I always worked out. And it just continued on from year to year. And so, I'm able to still do the things. As a matter of fact, during basketball season at a local college, I practiced with the college guys. That was kind of like the go-to guy when they were preparing to play for another team. And so that's another one of the things that I was able to do, just for fun. You know what I mean? So.
Well, that's phenomenal. Yeah. That's phenomenal, Sean. I mean, you heard it here, fans. Sean is running a 4.45. He is running a 4.45, and the brother is in his late 40s. That is phenomenal. So I think, man, you should just go on out there maybe for the Atlanta Generals or something, or Legends next year, man. What you think?
Hey, man, you know what? If I can do it, I'll do it. Just to show everybody that it can be done. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
But yeah, man.
Well, Sean, you actually had an awesome career down on the flats, and a lot of the fans really appreciate a lot of what you've done. I talked to a couple of them today, and they just wanted me to let you know that they did appreciate all that you have ever done down there. Now, you had an awesome opportunity to play under Coach Ralph Friedgen. Pro-style offense, something that is actually making a return back to the flats. Give the fans a little bit of an understanding, a little bit about what you went through and what that offense meant to you and to our team back at that time.
It's pretty much shaped the way I think about football now. I mean, I was fortunate enough to have Coach Friedgen as my coach, and I admit he was a tough coach,
right.
But for me, that's what I needed at the time, simply because he forced me to pay attention to detail.
Right.
And pretty much the way I went about offense was the way he taught me. And so I read everything from defense from the top down. I knew what a free safety was, a strong safety was. I knew what the front that people were playing, and I knew at least 2 to 3 deep at every position. And then with that said, I knew whatever formation that we were going to run, I knew all the checks that we needed to make. I knew what the blocking assignments were needed. I knew what the calls were needed to be. And he prepared me for that. And, just like I do, Tom, there were times where, 2-minute situations, we don't get calls in the style.
That's right.
And we practiced that.
Right.
We always called our own plays on the run, and you had to know what you were doing.
Right.
And so that gave us the ability to always get out of a bad play. And a lot of times now, with the way offenses are, having coached it and with the styles that people play now with the RPOs and the different types of offenses, it's not so much seeing the big picture as much as it is seeing spreading people out and reading areas.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I think, to be honest with you, from guys that transition out of those offenses into the NFL, in the past was a lot difficult because the ball was pretty much in the middle of the field in the NFL.
Right.
And so there's no matter what formation you were in, you're almost pretty much in the middle of the field. So you always had to find the safety. And so when guys go from shotgun to under the center, and then you're talking about turning around, play action pass, and getting your head back around to try to find the free safety and find out what coverage they're in, that was difficult for a lot of guys. But that's what we did all the time. And so that kind of prepared me, at least when I went to the next level in the NFL, and begin to see from the other standpoint, it was a lot easier for us. But it was very, very time consuming. It was also a situation where I had to pay attention to detail. I had to know where everybody was all the time, and then I had to know what the defense was doing. And that made it, once I figured that out, then it made playing offense a lot easier.
Yeah, Sean, you know, I know about playing against you and being on the other side of the field from you guys, doing those dreaded 2-minute sessions that we would have at the beginning of every practice.
Right.
You know, and it always amazed me how effortlessly you did things. You know, and I know that was part of, you know, that was just part of you. That was part of your makeup. And you made things look so cool. Even the times that you were definitely stressed, you made everything look cool. And I've always wanted to ask you, how did you come about that? Where did that come from?
To be honest with you, this is going to sound crazy, but I was one of those guys that looked forward to 2-minute practice. I mean, it was like, I loved Wednesday. I think it was Monday, Wednesdays, and maybe a little bit on Friday before a game, but I loved those opportunities. And there were times when we didn't do it right. I'm asking Coach Friedgen, hey, let's do it again. But, you know, Coach Friedgen was always trying to be on time with everything. And I would get frustrated because I knew if I missed something, I didn't like that. Right. I didn't like losing. I didn't like losing to the defense because, you know, we always went against the first defense. Exactly. And you had Willie Clay over there talking. You had Ken. You had all those guys over there talking. And it was like, okay, let's get this thing on.
Right.
And that really, because the competition was so high in practice, it really made it a little bit easier once we got in the game. Now, obviously, the stakes were a little bit higher in games because you're trying to win a game. But it was a little bit easier to me because we've been here. We do this all the time. It's nothing new to us. We just go out and execute what we normally do. And that was a time that I really look forward to. Plus, when you know what you're doing, it's easier to go out and play. It's different when you go out there, you kind of like, well, I really don't know what they're doing. I don't know what I want to call. Then it's stressful because you're not prepared.
Right.
But for me, I was like, you know what? I know what I'm doing. I know what I want to call. I know what I want to call to the field. I know what I want to call to the boundary. I know what they're going to do. I know what they're going to do in the red zone. So, you know, no matter what you do, I got this handled. And that's kind of the approach I took.
That was a phenomenal job that Coach Ross did for all of us, which was constant situational football. Right. Putting us in those game time situations so that when those things actually happen, we were familiar with that stuff. And I mean, and it wasn't easy, Ken, it wasn't easy, Sean, with us looking across, like you said, on the defense, and you got Ken Swillen sitting there at the safety.
Exactly.
A big old 4-4 running cat that just covers from sideline to sideline in seconds, and then in milliseconds, I should say. And then you got shut down Willie Clay over there on the corner, and then
Marco
Coleman coming off the end, giving Mooney fits, and then there was an imposing defense that we went against every day. And we understood that to be successful against that defense, man, we were going to be successful on every Saturday.
Oh, absolutely. And, you know, what's interesting and cool is even though we had 2-minute situations, they did too.
Right.
And they succeeded.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's they got the ball back for us. Right. You know what I mean? And it was real cool to see Marco getting sacks, Ken picking off passes when they think that they got a shot, and all of a sudden he comes across to pick a pass off and give us the ball back. It was real cool to see how successful they were on defense as well.
It was just a phrase that I didn't know at the time, but it was very applicable, which was iron sharpening iron. Right. And that was something that we did on everyday practice.
Yeah, and you're right about that. And that was a credit to the staff that was there. You know, and Tommy, you just talked about it, the way they had us prepared for each situation. I mean, I can, you know, I still watch a football game and look at the down and distance.
Absolutely.
Every single time. Every single time. You know, in my mind, I'm saying it's third and 5. Right. What would we do? This, that, and the third, you know. Right. And being under that tutelage, you know, Coach Friedgen, Coach O'Leary, and all those guys, Coach Prefer, you know, kind of makes me watch football a whole lot different.
It does.
I mean, I can sit and watch a game, but I'm not watching it like other people watch it.
Exactly.
So I'm appreciative from that standpoint because it gave us a greater appreciation to it. Sean, you talked about the hard work that you had to put into yourself and put into learning Coach Friesen's system and Coach what Coach Ross really wanted you to do. Was there ever time that you ever thought that you wouldn't get it, that you wouldn't succeed? Because I know you got redshirted when you first got there, and trust and believe we were all clamoring for you to start your freshman year.
Right.
Yes, we were. Man, what's crazy is I remember when I first got there, I felt like, you know what, man, I'm the best guy here. But the thing that I did really have to look at was, you know how it is when you got scout team and Coach O'Leary had the cards drawn up and they had this, if it was a curl route, he had that guy circle, throw it to this guy. And I remember the first couple of weeks I would do that, and I'm like, man, why am I throwing interceptions? And Coach Friesen called me in the office and said, listen, you throw another interception, I'm going to be on your behind. And then I thought and I said, so you mean to tell me I don't have to throw to the guy on that circle? He said, throw another interception. So for me, I said, okay, I'm going to transition this into competing.
Right.
So now what happens is when the spring came around, there was no, if Coach called a formation and there was a shift and a motion, I can't be looking back to see where everybody was.
Right.
So what I would do is I would get a play sheet and I would call it out and I would visualize everything that was happening so that when I got in that moment, I knew what was going on. Because the development for me was, I want to see what the defense is going to do because I got to know what he's going to call. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so once I learned that, the toughest challenge for me going forward after that was we study film, and this is what they do.
Right.
And Tom, you can remember this. And then we come out and that opening drive, and it's like, especially the third and long, it's like, okay, they doing something completely different that we haven't seen on film.
Right.
So now you got to play football.
That's right.
And so it's just based on, okay, you got to understand what they're trying to do and figure it out. And it didn't go from halftime adjustments. It was from adjustments on the field between series. And that was the toughest thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But the work that I had to do was for myself, I need to make sure that I don't eliminate myself in competing for the starting job by not knowing the formations, not knowing what the plays are, not knowing how to read, not knowing what the progressions I need to have based on coverages. I couldn't let that eliminate me from having an opportunity to play on Saturday.
And another thing too, Sean, the hardest thing that I remember and the craziest thing was trying to communicate what was actually happening to you as you were playing, or when things were going on and you had to make that adjustment, coming to the sideline, grabbing the phone, and talking to your coach.
Yeah.
And he's asking you, Kenny,
Exactly.
what'd he do to you? And I don't know, Coach. He ran by.
And then he was.
Yeah, he was right there. And next thing I know, he was by me. And that was the biggest difference between like playing high school ball and playing college ball. You had to really learn how to communicate what was happening so they could help you.
Yes.
Because, that was always a remedy to what they had.
Right.
But you had to be able to communicate that to the coach and be able to tell him, hey, he stemmed me inside and then, he did something I ain't seen before,
Right.
So,
that's right.
So,
Exactly, man. I mean, I can remember going out. There were really two coaches I thought were defensively were challenges simply because they didn't always do the same thing. And that was Dick Sheridan at NC State because he always did things backwards.
right.
And Clemson, for me, because Clemson was so good athletically, they could pretty much do anything. Well, I can remember a time we were playing North Carolina State. And, man, they got a flat-out man coverage look. I'm talking about the safety is like 4 yards off the line of scrimmage. And I'm checking. And I got mass protection, and I got everybody in. I got a two-man route. And they drop back and cover two. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, man, what have I done wrong?
Right.
And now you got to waste a down. And you like, man, what's going on? So I go to the sideline, and Coach Friesen said, why did you check? I said, Coach, the free safety is at linebacker level. He said, well, they can do anything they want to as long as your hands aren't under the center. And that was a revelation to me because I thought,
Yeah.
wow. So then I started learning how to fake like I'm going to take the snap, and then you see guys running the position because they know when the ball snaps, they got to be where they're supposed to be. So those were little things I learned on the field that really helped me as going forward, not to make mistakes before the snap. You know what I'm saying? And so those little things, like you said, Ken, that you learn how to communicate on the sideline and let coaches help you, and in turn with them giving you wisdom, and it ends up causing you to be more successful on the field.
We're talking to Sean Jones, quarterback of the 1990 National Championship team. And Sean, you know, those are the things that Ken and I, as we watch games and we talk about telltale signs, the way that you pick up stuff prior to the snap, how you actually read and know what's about to happen out there. Our offense had a lot of read routes. We had a lot of, you know, ways that we can actually modify things. You know, if I'm doing an in route, I would sometimes just turn around and just curl up. Or, you know, maybe if they're pressing up, I would go long and do a fly. But it's one of those things that I think today are things that kids really have to work on, getting into that film and learning and what's going on so they can recognize this stuff. We got an entire team now that's going from the option style offense now to the pro style offense, just so far as that education and how they need to kind of look at things in transition, man. What would you say to those kids today?
Well, first of all, I would say, number one, understand from an offensive standpoint what you're trying to do so that everybody can be on the same page. Because typically when you change offenses like that, it's the terminology, number one, that you got to get used to.
Right.
And second of all, it may be the method that they go about doing things, the way you run routes. It could be something like how your feet are positioned. And from a standpoint of a quarterback, it's about timing. It's about making sure you know exactly where you need to go with the ball. And the receivers have to trust that you're going to get the ball to them. And that's going to be a little different. That's going to be a little different when, you know, because from my understanding, I ran a little bit of wishbone in high school. You're going to get 9 in the box, so you're pretty much one-on-one on the perimeter. Well, when you're more pro style, and Tom, you remember there were times we were seeing 2 deep with a guy playing the hole, and then you might have the linebacker blitz and the nose guard drop. And so what do you do in those situations? And so you have to practice enough to where I know what you're doing, you know what I'm doing, and then if anything changes, we know how to respond and make adjustment. But that takes time. You know what I mean? That takes time, and hopefully sooner than later. But it's just about getting out there, understanding what you're supposed to be doing from a terminology standpoint, understanding that, knowing what the system is supposed to be, and really the coaches being able to communicate information and guys getting it will help out a lot. Just like we were talking about before. I've learned this in coaching middle school. If a kid has a question they need answered, if you don't give it to them from the sideline, they're gonna make the answer up on their own, and it may not be the right one. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do know what you're saying, and I mean, you know,
and that happens. That happens at the college level. It happens at the pro level. You know what I'm saying?
It does.
And so, the coaches have to make sure that they communicate the information that they want to guys and make sure they can apply it, so that if anything happens, at least foundationally, we know what to do, and we can make adjustments from there.
Well, this is what makes this show so special. From a player's perspective, you get it in no way other in a way that nobody else can give it to you. You got the players giving it to you and breaking it down in a way that just a normal common person would not understand. And doing those things. And we appreciate you, Sean, for breaking it down for us.
Thank you, bro.
Absolutely. And bringing that insight and enlightenment to a lot of people. And just in case, you know, Coach Friedgen is listening in that type of scenario, we would have a hot route, and then I would be the guy that you would need to hit. But I would need to stem it up and don't drift to the middle, because if I drift to the middle, then that, you know, nose tackle could get the interception. So just to let them know that I do know what I was doing, and I, you know, making it happen.
Hey, Sean, let me ask you this as we get ready to let you go. How many times did Tommy come to the sideline and say, "Man, I was open"? Sean, I was open.
Listen, Tom would get mad at me if we were on the goal line and I run a bootleg. Tom can be wide open in the end zone by himself, and there's nobody on me. Right. So basically, it's just the two of us.
Right.
So he would expect me to throw the ball when there's nobody guarding me and there's nobody guarding him. I'm saying, man, I throw you the ball, you drop it, man. Can you imagine what Coach Friesen and Coach Ross say to me? And so he go to the sideline and he just go off. Man, throw the ball.
That's right. That's right.
Every possession, Tom was open.
That's right. That's right. See, and everybody thought I was lying when I said that, and everything. But it was, of course, you took the high percentage and you just walk it in and make sure no errors and all that stuff. But you didn't know that you had the golden hands in front of you, and I would have never let you down, brother. You know what
That's
I'm saying?
right, man. That's Absolutely. Right, man.
Well, Sean, man, thanks so much for taking time out, brother, and joining us on A Player's Perspective, brother. We look forward to having you more, having you come back, maybe even getting a chance to come into the studio with us. And then hopefully we can get a chance to see you on the Legends of the Flats on the 30th of March. Are you planning to come up for that?
I'm going to plan to come up, man. We talked about that before. I'm going to plan to come up and see what happens, and hopefully I get a chance to come up.
Absolutely. Well, we will look forward to seeing you, brother, and spending some time with you and chopping it up and everything else. This is where, you get the best of Georgia Tech sports right here on A Player's Perspective. And we had the pleasure of having Sean Jones with us, quarterback, back on the 1990 National Championship team. Thanks again, Sean, for joining us today.
Yes, sir, man. You guys have a great day, man.
Talk to you later. Appreciate you, Sean.
Peace.
All right.
Well, there it is, Ken.
There it is.
I mean, you can't get no better than that, brother. It just doesn't get any better than that. Especially to hear, both you and him, because you're the quarterback on defense.
Pretty much, yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it was like basically, the chess match began.
That's it.
And you had to recognize what he was about to do or what he was thinking, where his eyes are going, what's about to happen there. And he was doing the same thing with you. You walking up, were you moving to the side? Are you disguising something?
Right.
It's a fun game, kid.
And that's what I loved about playing defense. I loved the disguising part of it.
Yes.
Being in one thing and trying to hold it as long as you possibly could before you had to run out and get where you needed to be.
Right.
And a lot of times you would just, because we held things so long, we would really confuse guys.
Right.
Really confuse guys. And I don't think a lot of guys really understood what Sean was talking about. He just mentioned what Coach Friesen told him about putting his hands up on the center.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of these guys will be hands already on the center, so as long as I can do whatever.
Right.
Because I know that you got to move now.
Right.
You can't do nothing. Right. You can't do nothing else. So I'm going to hold it right there until, you turn loose or whatever. So, that's one of those things that,
wisdom.
It just comes with part of the game. And, I'm just glad that Sean and Jeremiah both are doing well. And, I just wish that I had asked Sean a little bit more about how can he help old man like me?
Well, I'm sure, brother, we can give him a call.
Yeah.
And we can get some sessions in, and we can help us at least get from our 7.8 today.
Yeah.
Back down to maybe a 6.0.
I don't know, man. I might be a 10 right now. I might be a 10. I might be a 20. I don't know.
Well, I tell you what, that's a blessing to be in that greater shape, at our age, in the way that we've gotten beat up and all that kind of stuff.
Lord.
And Sean had his share of injuries for sure.
Yeah. We didn't call him Super Toe for nothing.
Super Toe. Super Toe. Absolutely. But that's awesome, man. We had 2 star-studded lettermen on our show today, Jeremiah McClary and Sean Jones. We want to thank them both for joining us today. It was a pleasure. It was fun having them on. We had Zach Lasky on 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, last week.
Last week. Golly, man, see how fast this thing goes. But and we're looking forward to continuing on with that each and every week, bringing that to you guys. So spread the word, share our link, share our show. Let people know where you can come for the best sports talk for Georgia Tech. It's right here on A Player's Perspective. Ken, I was just talking to another Georgia Tech alum. She's a very successful attorney here in Atlanta. Her name is Audrey Tolson of the Tolson firm.
Right.
And she has some beautiful girls out there
Yeah.
that are playing soccer and doing very well in that.
Right.
And one of the things that she talked to me about was, where is Tech going to get a women's soccer team? And I think we're the only team in the ACC right now without one.
Without one.
And then with the heightened environment and things that are going on in Atlanta that United has actually put together for us.
Right.
Winning the MLS last year, doing those type of things. People are soccer minded now.
Yeah, I mean,
Atlanta. What do you think about that?
You look at what as we were coming to the studio tonight. I passed by about 10 soccer fields.
Yeah.
Full of kids.
Oh, full of kids. Absolutely.
Everybody playing games and doing different things of that nature. So, that's something I think that is growing.
Right.
That is changing. It's something I think that we have to look into. And I don't know if there is a club sport, soccer sport right now for the women, for the females. But that's something that we have to come on into this generation and be a little bit more acceptant of soccer.
Right. That's
period. Right. Because it's a growing sport. It's a sport that has taken Atlanta by storm. And I say this all the time. If you'd have told me 3 years ago that I'd be watching as much soccer as I'm watching right now, outside of World Cup time,
right.
I
would
have told you you're crazy.
That's right.
What I'm saying? So, but that's something I think that is going to be very vital and very important in the upcoming future for for our university, for for the institute to get involved in, and make it so that our young ladies can stay at home.
Well, we're gonna put that on. We're gonna put that on our list of questions that we need to ask Todd once we get Todd on the show, because I even think that it would be more advantageous to bring in the women's first,
right,
before the men's soccer, just because it is huge,
right.
Because if I'm not mistaken, the North Carolina Tar Heel women have won that national championship for several years now in a row.
Quite a few times, yeah.
And have dominated out there, and that would be fun to see.
Right, exactly.
That would be fun to see. Well, Ken, I think, man, we can wrap this one up and put it in the books. This is one of our better shows, I believe, that we've had out there, and got a chance to do it right here in our new digs in Seven Springs Studio,
right?
With our engineer over there, Kim Jackson, and so we appreciate him putting it together for us and handling the phones and all that good stuff. So, folks out there, we glad to have you. And sorry we weren't able to do it live like we normally do, but you're gonna get enjoyment out of this just as much. And we look forward to hearing your comments though and reading your comments. When we post this, once this show ends and we wrapped it up here. Anything else you want to talk about, Ken, this week?
No, I'm good. Just to remember on the March the 30th, 9 o'clock a.m., Legends of the Flats Day. Former players, if you hadn't already, got signed up and got your reservation and your RSVP or whatever, please do so.
Yep.
And I'm looking forward to seeing everybody. Looking forward to having a real good time that day.
There you go. And make sure you guys check out the Waffle House Wednesday with Tashard Choice and Roddy Jones. We'll post that up on our page also, so you guys can take a look at that and see. That's something that's really special too, Ken, because I saw that you got your Waffle House.
I got it on today.
You got your. That's what I'm talking about, brother. And I posted my picture too, brother. I posted it out there. Let Coach know I'm doing my part. Well, thank you all for joining the Players Perspective. We are always here and excited about entertaining you all with Georgia Tech Sports. We look forward to seeing you all next week at the same time, Wednesdays at 7 p.m. on Facebook Live. Look for us on YouTube. We're going to start that process of getting that integrated and getting some things going on over there. So thank y'all so much for tuning in with us. We love y'all. Have a great week, and we'll talk to you soon. Peace.
Peace.